Salut tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez bien, très bien. C'est NazGamer06 pour une nouvelle vidéo et en exclusivité le nouveau jeu.
Welcome to this, the very first episode of Night City Wire, a brand new series from us at CD Projekt Red where we'll be talking about all things Cyberpunk 2077. For today's episode, we'll be starting with a brand new trailer. One of our developers will be joining us to help unpack everything you're going to see. We'll have some news, an announcement about a secret collaboration. We'll be taking a look at some brain dance gameplay and welcoming back our developers just to have a chat about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing. Media all over the world have been getting hands-on with Cyberpunk 2077, and when this episode finishes, you'll be able to go and check out exactly what they thought. So, let's get started. It is time to take a look at our brand new trailer, and after that, our lead quest designer Pavel Sasko will be joining us because I've got a feeling you're going to have a few questions after watching this. So, let's take a look.
Elle est très jolie en tout cas. Je peux traduire un peu ce qu'elle dit.
I love this town. The city of endless opportunity. Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
City like any other, just bigger.
Nah, mano, not just any other city. Legends are born here.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bullet.
Even then, you go out with a bang, right?
You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
So what's the gig, Dex? You meant to come out in one piece? How about we go over the plan?
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Job's to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a corp.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
Ka-ching, baby.
Goes without saying, we do this on the hush. Ideally, no bodies, not a one.
Sounds simple enough.
He's lit, assholes!
Is it gonna be dangerous?
C'est un peu style GTA quand même. Tu peux conduire une voiture. Je crois que c'est un monde ouvert.
Happened in there?
Can't stop digging Night City.
Fucking major leagues. Happy now, Jackie?
Yep, that's fucking high! Time to bail!
Oh my god, we're so fucked.
Ouais, ça a l'air lourd. Ça donne envie.
What the fuck?
Ça donne envie de prendre la Xbox carrément.
And you, who
Si
are
c'est
you?
comme un GTA, tu vois.
Fuck.
So the trailer contains footage from the game's prologue only, but there was an awful lot in it. So Pavel, why don't you try and help us unpack everything that we just saw?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, I can try. So, what you have just seen is only the prologue of the game. So, that awesome stuff is only happening in the first few quests.
Ouais, le truc de hacker sur Watch Dogs, c'est lourd un peu des fois.
You know, this gigantic city built of 6
C'est compliqué des fois Watch Dogs, je trouve.
surrounded by the seventh one that we call the Badlands. As a player, you are
Ouais, c'est un monde ouvert, hein. Tu peux conduire des voitures, te balader. Donc ils ont dit ça, c'est un trailer, c'est pas le truc final.
Jackie introduces you to Fixer Dexter DeShawn. He's a very important person in a social ladder of Cyberpunk. He is able to provide the player with various jobs and contracts to be able to gather money, to be able to modify their bodies, push themselves to the limits, to put their hands on the chip. But as you can expect, not everything goes as planned, and but to see it, you will have to play the game.
There are an awful lot of really cool things in this trailer, and there's a few that I would just love to talk about a little bit more for the people at home. So let's start with talking about a gang called the Mox. Now, we see a few flashes of them in this trailer. I personally think they're really cool and one of my favorites, but can you give us a little bit more information about them?
Oh yes, so the Mox is one of the gangs that player is going to interact with throughout the game. The Mox is the gang that has been formed in 2076 after death of Elizabeth Borden, she was
En fait, il raconte le scénario, en fait, l'histoire. Les gangs des années 60, le style des années 60. Le boss du boss qu'on a vu avant conduire la voiture.
So earlier on, you did mention
Voilà,
a 7th district, a place called the Badlands. Now we saw a few shots of
C'est
this
dur de
in the
traduire
trailer,
parce
but
qu'ils
I'd
font
love
que
for you to
parler.
give us a bit more
Je
detail
comprends
about
une
the
bonne
district
partie, mais
outside of the city walls.
Okay, so the Badlands is this like dead, dried out space going around the whole night.
voilà, on devra collaborer avec le gang des années 60. Pour l'instant, je pense que ça sera qu'une exclue Xbox. Mais peut-être il pourrait sortir sur PC, peut-être sur PS4, PS5. Pour l'instant, il est que sur Xbox X. Je trouve qu'il est beau comme jeu. Si c'est sur Xbox
In
Series,
the trailer, we also saw like a completely metal creature. Now he didn't look like he
C'est
was
sur
from
la
the Maelstrom
Xbox
gang.
X,
This looked like
chapeau.
something else. So please tell the people at home, who is this giant metal monster?
Okay, so
putain, si je pouvais faire plus d'audience, si je pouvais faire un peu plus de monnaie avec la YouTube monnaie, je prendrais bien les deux, PS5 et Xbox. Comme ça, je teste les exclus Xbox série X ou la Xbox X et PS5. Mon PC il est limité. Mon PC il fait tourner un peu Fortnite, mais dès que je passe à GTA 5 ça bug.
In this trailer, we do see
Faudrait que je
some
pense à
flashes of
changer de
Ripper
PC
Doc
aussi.
called Victor Vector. I think if people have watched our previous gameplays,
Bon, si
they
les gens
might
ils
remember
regardent
him.
plus mes
But I'd
vidéos,
really like for you
peut-être
to
je
give
pourrais
the people at
investir
home
un peu
some more
plus.
information about what Ripper Docs are and
Si ma
how
chaîne
they'll
elle
be
marche mieux dans
interacting with
l'avenir,
them when they
pourquoi
play
pas.
Cyberpunk.
J'ai jusqu'à décembre 2020, je vais essayer d'envoyer pas mal de vidéos, pas mal de trucs. Je me tourne surtout vers l'actu en ce moment. Tu peux customiser ton joueur, lui changer les yeux, lui changer les mains, mettre des armes dans les mains.
Craft your own relationship with them. Some of them are like important characters for a story. Through that, you will invest eddies that you're gathering to turn your body into the
Ça me fait penser à un film où je changeais ses yeux. Comment il s'appelle déjà ce film?
Pavel, thank you so much for joining us. I know you'll be back later in the episode because you're going to be helping us to analyze the Braindance gameplay. But before that, we do have some news to share. Earlier in the year, we announced that if you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One, you'll be able to play it on Xbox Series X when the console launches. And just in case you missed it,
Ah,
it will be
t'as vu
available
ça?
for PlayStation players as well.
On pourrait y
If you
jouer
pick
sur
up
la
Cyberpunk
Xbox Series X même si on l'achète sur la Xbox
you'll also be
One.
able to play it on PlayStation 5 when the console launches. And that's not all. There will be a free upgrade for
Et peut-être
Xbox
sur
Series X
PS5.
and PlayStation 5, but we'll have more details on that soon.
Tonight City.
Mais on aura plus de détails bientôt.
Before we reveal our first look at the Braindance gameplay and welcome back our developers for a chat, there is just one more thing we want to announce. Something that we've been working on in secret for a while. We are very excited to announce our partnership with Studio Trigger and Netflix to bring you Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a standalone anime set in the
Carrément.
Cyberpunk universe which we've been working on for
T'as le
some
cinéma
time
qui
now.
s'allie maintenant
Edgerunners
avec le
is
jeu
due to
vidéo.
launch in 2022, but for some more information, let's go to the team in Tokyo.
Salut Dark White Démon. Salut Jack Layton aussi.
My name is Saya Elder. I am the Japan-based producer for
Salut
Cyberpunk
Soprod.
Edgerunners. What I do basically on this project is
C'est
that I
nouveau
am
jeu
a
Cyberpunk.
fixer, to put it in the words of the Cyberpunk universe. We
Il
are
a
a
l'air
game
pas
company.
mal.
We
Ça a l'air
are a
d'être un
bunch of nerds
mélange
and
entre
wherever
Watch
there are
Dogs
nerds,
et
there's
GTA
gotta be anime
5.
fans, so it was always
Putain,
a
des
dream
très
for
jolies
us
filles dans
to
cette
make
conférence.
anime. When we began this
Ils
project,
savent y faire Xbox
we were certain that
avec
we didn't want
les
to
joueurs.
make a recreation of the game. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a standalone story set in the same universe. The stage is still Night City, but everything else is totally new. New
Voilà, c'est
characters,
Tokyo du
new
futur.
story. I do like to think that it's going to be a great gateway for newcomers to come and check Cyberpunk game and also the Cyberpunk genre as a whole.
Voilà, il s'inspire de Tokyo.
Nakano, which is one of the biggest anime meccas of the world. I'm going to take you to Studio Trigger right now because we have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the Dream Team that will be bringing you this anime.
J'ai jamais été très attiré par les... Mais celle-là, elle est mignonne, de l'asiatique. Ça, c'est les producteurs. Ils sont pas sortis. Eux, ils sont en confinement depuis 3 ans en train de faire le jeu. C'est clair. C'est un travail de fou, les jeux vidéo. Programmation, Unreal Engine. Mais si le jeu il marche, ils travaillent, ça fait 10 ans qu'ils travaillent sur ce jeu, les gars, quoi. Enfin, que leur compagnie, elle existe, quoi. Que la compagnie Trigger, elle existe. Donc ça sera Tokyo du futur. Très mignonne, elle aussi. Ils savent y faire pour attirer les joueurs. Là. Je vais la mettre en avatar, elle. Tu vas voir, je vais faire des vues. Ouais, ils sont forts les Japonais, mais ils ont toujours été forts. Que ce soit en manga, dessin animé, Dragon Ball Z, tout ça par exemple. Un exemple, Ranma 1,5, tous leurs... Depuis la Sega Nintendo. Il est beau en graphisme, il est magnifique franchement. Pour une Xbox One ou une PS, c'est incroyable. J'espère que vous avez la 1080p dans le live. J'ai tout fait pour essayer d'optimiser ce live pour qu'il soit le plus... Ça me servira. Comme ça mes boutiques Fortnite elles seront plus belles aussi. Tu vois, c'est vachement réaliste les commerces. Tu vois, contrairement à GTA c'est froid un peu. Les PNG sont froids. Là, les détails ils sont extraordinaires, je trouve, dans le graphisme. Là, on peut personnaliser le mec, lui mettre des trucs, des armes dans les mains, des fonctions, des casques. Putain, elle ressemble à la femme qui présente, non? Je me demande s'il ferait pas des jeux hard bientôt. Ce serait interdit au moins de 18 ans. Ouais, sûrement parce que Soprod, les détails du graphisme, c'est énorme. Je pense pas que la Xbox elle pourra faire sur un graphisme comme ça du 30 FPS, c'est beau déjà. Plus il y a de graphisme, plus c'est difficile de faire du 60 FPS. Même il paraît la PS5 elle aura quelques petits problèmes s'il y a trop de détails de graphisme, trop de choses. Mais le SSD ça va aider justement. Le SSD ne va pas servir que au stockage, mais va servir à enlever les temps de chargement, à faire les calculs en direct. SSD bien optimisé avec une bonne bande passante, avec la carte graphique, la carte son, la carte mère, un bon flot de communication entre SSD, carte mère, carte son, carte image, ça va faire mal. Les consoles du futur, on y arrive, on commence. Je pense même qu'après cette génération, dans 5, 6 ans, 7 ans, il y aura la PS6, ça sera vraiment du film, du jeu film. Ça sera du jeu filmé. Et tu auras des films où voilà, c'est toi qui choisis ton scénario de film. Ça sera du film pratiquement. Du film où tu peux jouer dedans. Ouais, c'est ça. Fini les temps de chargement sur PS5 avec le SSD. Et même les PC, ils auront un temps de retard parce que PS5 a optimisé la communication, la bande passante entre la SSD et la carte mère. Ce que n'ont pas fait spécialement le PC. Et le PC va les rattraper dans les années à venir et va les dépasser, c'est sûr. Le PC, toujours, il a un temps de retard par rapport aux consoles, parce que les consoles, c'est spécialisé gaming. Mais après, le PC, il rattrape et il dépasse. Le tout, c'est qu'il faut qu'il y ait une bonne... Tu peux avoir le meilleur SSD, la meilleure carte mère. Si tu n'as pas une bonne bande passante entre les deux, et une bonne communication entre les deux pour tout calculer en temps réel, ça va être dur. Ouais, non, mais ça sera... C'est ce que je pensais depuis que je suis petit. D'ailleurs, une de mes prochaines vidéos, ça va parler de Unreal Engine 5. Et une petite démo de ce que ça peut donner. Et on n'est pas loin du vidéo réaliste. On n'est pas loin. Là encore, ça se voit que c'est du jeu vidéo. Voilà, ça commence à devenir comme du Watchdog, hacks, replay, analyse de la scène.
Hella nice.
Scanning works on peeps too. Walk up to the wounded chick. Try scanning her. Alright, next thing. Scroll forward to the part where our artist gets a lead injection.
Or I will fucking drop you, I swear to God! Well, now, fucking head off!
See that? They shot him and he never saw it coming. But you will. Here it comes. My favorite part of the game.
C'est comme si tu menais une enquête, tu vois aussi. Moi, j'aime bien les jeux où ça tire et un peu d'action, un peu de rigolade. Pas trop... Quoique, faudrait que j'essaye les jeux d'enquêteurs, tout ça. C'est que mon avis. Voilà, là il y avait un PC, je sais pas quoi, vidéosurveillance.
His own Chumba shot him. Probably planned to all along. Must have got a nice slice of cred on the black market for a BD like this. BD freaks are ready to pay a preem for a real flatline. Anyway, if you've seen enough, you can exit.
Il y aura même des films, je pense, où tu choisis ton scénario.
So Braindance is a pretty big part of the Cyberpunk universe. It's not just something used for adult films. There is an awful lot to it. And there's two sides I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe. And then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of Braindance?
I would love to. So in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, Braindance was invented way back in the early 2000s at UC Santa Cruz. It was developed as a way of recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077 it's become this global media industry, including things like movies, mass entertainment, things like that, video games, some interactive things, and of course adult fare as well. Now, in our game, we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now that's where the person recording it actually dies during the recording. And it's popular with sort of an illicit kind of a thrill, but a mercenary can also use them for various things, and you'll see that in the game, of course.
And from the gameplay perspective, we have been working a lot throughout last years trying to figure out the best way how to use the braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this braindance editor mode. As a player, you will be able to run the braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of the recording, back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that
Voilà,
clues
tu
are
peux trouver
actually
des
telling the
indices.
story in the
Tu
game.
peux trouver des indices
So,
dans les
as a
replays.
player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to,
Tu fais
different
l'enquêteur
mysteries,
aussi dans
and
le
you will
jeu.
uncover them
C'est
actually
pas que du
using
shoot.
the braindance as a mechanics in the game.
So, as Pavel was saying, we use Braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible. It's not something where you're going to go in and you're going to play it and you're going to be like, I've seen this before. What we use Braindance for is to give you a keyhole into the life of the residents of Night City.
Voilà,
And
ce sera
we
pas
can
qu'un jeu de
explore
shoot,
things
ça
like
sera un
trauma,
jeu où tu
religion,
réfléchis,
various philosophical
tu prends des
ideas in a way
indices.
that you might not otherwise experience in a story about a mercenary on the tough streets.
So we've tried
C'est un
to
jeu de
talk about
réflexion
some of the
aussi.
aspects that we think the community will find really exciting, but you know, while you're both here, I'd love to know what is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for. Patrick, why don't you start?
So one of the things that I'm most excited about in this game is the characters and the way they interact with the world. We've got this really interesting world that stretches all the way back to the Cyberpunk 2020 source material and all of these events and all of those things, but those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their function. What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there. We go back and we figure out what was their childhood like? What was their upbringing like? What kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality? And did they overcome them? And how did they overcome them? Or did they not overcome them? And why? And you can see all of those things in their environment, in their dialogues, in sort of how they operate in the world. And we come up with that for all of our characters. Now, you look at someone like Victor Vector, and you're going to see stories about his past in his environment and in his dialogue. You know, we come up with that stuff even if we don't use it in the game because it helps inform us as to who these characters are.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has stayed with us since the Witcher 3 time, we really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience to put them into the quest that we have made. And you will not find really a filler in this game. Like everything has a meaning. Like we put so much effort into making sure that everything is rewarding, is interesting, is talking about characters, as Patrick said, is talking about worlds, is talking about emotions, like touching the player in a really, like a real way. And I just can't wait to find out.
Voilà, chaque détail sera important dans le jeu. Le scénario peut changer. C'est très complexe comme jeu. On est plus dans du Watch Dogs que dans du GTA V.
This is my notebook. It says Salsa Quest Designer. The reason is because I dance salsa, and I'm a quest designer, so you know. So I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At the very beginning, I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype.
Ça doit être sa programmation.
And then, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on for like next years. I remember once when our concept artists actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. And I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, yeah, well, you know, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. so yeah, well, you may find maybe some of my notes in the game.
Pavel and Patrick, thank you so much for joining me. I'm pretty lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be posting their impressions right about now. And if you missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon. And finally, on behalf of everybody at CD Projekt Red, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this, the very first episode of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon.
Donc dans quelques semaines, il sortira sur PS4 aussi. Novembre 19 novembre, à la rentrée.